Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hello and welcome. It's a pleasure and honor to be here with you today on USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK, and our show today is The Long Game. And we're going to be talking about your current patterns and what they're actually building. So if you haven't joined us before, thank you so much. We have over 60 different programs. Some are live, some are in the archives. You can find them on our YouTube channels, USA Global TV and Radio and Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. We'd love to have you as part of our community. Okay, we're going to get right into the topic today. And so my goal is that you walk away with some tips. If you are an entrepreneur, you're someone who's looking at building a business, I want to provide you with some insights based on my own experience. If nothing in your current routine changed for the next 12 months, what would you end up with? So this is not about setting goals. This is about patterns. And in this episode, we're going to evaluate what's already in motion, not what you intend to do, but what you've already started building with your past decisions and behavior patterns. People will believe that they're building towards something. Even relationships, we believe that. And in reality, we are repeating patterns that are already producing an outcome, whether it's your health, whether it's in your family dynamics, whether it's with a partner, whether it's with your community, or whether it's with your business. You are not working towards a result. You're already creating one based on what you are repeating. So think about that. Every day we get to make choices. And we typically, from the minute we wake up, we have these patterns of behavior. And so based on what those patterns are, we're already going on a path where results are showing up. And so many times we are not happy with the results that we have. Maybe we're not happy with how quickly or how slowly we seem to be attaining these goals. But yet we have to look at, what is it that we're already doing or that we've already done that is impacting where it is that we want to go? And so a lot of times people don't actually want to do that work. There's a disconnect between patterns versus our intentions. And I want to give a few examples. One might be, I want to be healthy, versus what we're actually consuming and how much we're actually moving. So I want to be happy, that doesn't have any behavior patterns to support it, is probably going to result in I am unhappy. And that could be physically, mentally, spiritually. The next one is I want to grow my business, but yet our behavior patterns do not support that. We have inconsistent outreach. We don't have enough visibility. We're not putting in the time. We're negotiating with ourselves. We don't really have to work that much. We can take multiple vacations during the year. We have all of these behavior patterns that don't support what it is that we said our intention is. And the next one is, I want better relationships. And this one is usually the one that people can hone in on the most, because we might think we're being healthy. We might think that we're growing our business, but we pretty much know if we are in relationships that seem pretty dysfunctional. And how do we know this? It could be the silent treatment. Your partner gives you the silent treatment. It could be you giving the silent treatment. It could be over talking, over explaining, but typically it's based on our communication habits. And one of these, which we're not going to delve into today, is the ability or inability to actually listen. And even when we have businesses, or even when it comes to our health, we already make up our minds about what we believe and what we don't believe, what we're willing to do and what we're not willing to do. So even though our intention is to do one thing, our behavior and our choice patterns are something else. So I want to talk about how this is sort of a compounding effect, because what you say matters far less than what you repeat. Intentions, while they may be terrific, they don't scale. They're not going to help move you to the next level, but your patterns do. So when we look at compounding, I want to talk about how these patterns build over time. You've heard of small steps. Well, small steps taken on a daily basis can actually predict outcomes. There's nothing random about it when it comes to long-term success or long-term results. So the small actions that you take on a daily basis will help move you to where it is you want to go. Many times people will think, I have to make this tremendous effort. I have to change everything before I'm going to get to where it is I want to go. And you can see behind me, I purposely designed this graphic because the road is not straight. There's always a winding road. There's always places where we have to make a decision. And I could even redo this graphic and put forks in the road where we can choose to go one way or we can choose to go the other way. And many times we don't have the information that we need, so we might just take a leap instead of taking a small step. So let's talk about health and then we'll go into business, because without our health, it doesn't matter what we're doing with our business, right? Because if we're not healthy, if we're not mentally, physically, spiritually all in, then we're probably not going to be successful. When it comes to our health, most people will think about their health in three different situations. One, New Year's. Resolutions are usually around health. The second is if you're going for an annual physical. And you say to yourself, okay, well, I've got to go for this physical and I'm going to get myself together so that my test results look better. And the third is when we don't feel well. And all of a sudden, we are now confronted with the fact that we are not superhuman and that we're afraid of what it is that might be happening to us. We might have to make changes. And I'm going to add a fourth. The fourth one is when we see someone in our circle impacted by something, that their health has changed. They got a diagnosis and now everything is different. But other than that, we typically go forward every single day, not really putting a spotlight on this. So to all of a sudden make a major decision and not have any plan on how we're going to accomplish it is really setting ourselves up to fail. So we take small steps, and the small steps are maybe we start to cut back, moderation. Maybe we have someone who we're going to be accountable with. Maybe we hire someone just to listen to what it is that we have to say. Maybe we start cutting things out of our life that are really dysfunctional or toxic or that create a lot of drama. There's a lot of different choices, but it's fairly easy to understand when it comes to our health that we do have these options. So there's nothing random in getting long-term results. Here's an example. One decision that we make might seem insignificant. You know what, today I think I'll have whatever it is. Might not be a big deal. But when that's a repeated decision, day after day or week after week, that becomes part of our identity. And when our identity is repeated, that corresponds to an outcome. So there is no surprise ending. The result is embedded in the pattern. If you are someone, going back to health, if you are someone who values your health and you are moving, you might not be running a marathon, you might not be going to a brick and mortar gym, but you are moving. Let's say you're counting your steps, you're walking, you're getting exercise. Well, that's going to be part of your identity. You're not going to compromise on that. If you decide I'm going to be the weekend warrior and I'm going to go out and do something, probably it's not going to become part of your identity because you'll probably do too much. Just saying, in my history of being a personal trainer and also a certified instructor and coach, most people, if they're the weekend warrior, they end up getting injured and then they're not going to do it again. But when they say to themselves, you know what, exercise is really important, whether you like it or not. I know plenty of people who do not like to exercise. They hate the thought of it. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Well, this is a machine and the machine requires movement. So by you telling yourself that you're not going to do it, there's an expected outcome. And the expected outcome, we don't know exactly what it is, but if we took your behavior patterns and that of someone else who has the exact same situation and they're actually getting the movement in, we probably will see one living a healthier, happier life. We can't say because a lot of factors get involved in that scenario. And it's the same kind of thing when it comes to your business. There is no surprise ending. The result is embedded in a pattern. So this is where most people get things wrong, whether it's activity versus direction. And I've talked about this quite frequently. I hear this all the time. I've used it myself. I'm really highly aware of it and not using it anymore, is that people will confuse being busy with moving forward. So busy. I'm so busy. I have so much going on. Oh my gosh, I'm so busy. But what are you actually creating? What are you actually producing? How are you actually moving forward? Because we could all be busy with any number of things. There's no amount of distractions that we could just start embracing. There's no limit. And that doesn't mean that we're being productive. So let me break it down for you. When we have activity without direction, this creates motion, but not progress. So think about this. If you have a car, right, and you're driving the car, but you have no idea where you're going. You have a GPS, but you don't use it. And you don't actually have to be anywhere. You don't actually know where it is you're going. You're moving, but you have no direction. So you're not attempting to get to any place where you can actually say, well, I did make progress. And when we start repeating things in the wrong direction, this still compounds. We make choices and the choices build and build and build, as I mentioned before, and it becomes part of our identity, part of who we are. So you can be consistent and still be consistently off track. And, I love giving health examples. So let's say you join a gym. Let's say the beginning of the year, you decide I'm going to work out. And so you go to the gym and you have no baseline of information about where your body is today, maybe where you need some more attention, or maybe where things are working well. And so you just decide you're going to go to the gym for an hour a day. You really don't have any plan or structure. And then you see someone you haven't seen. And the next thing you know, you're talking to the person for 20 minutes. Then you decide to go and you get on a machine, whatever that machine might be. Maybe you're just walking around the track, or maybe you are swimming. It could be any number of things, but you don't actually have any goal. And so you say to yourself after doing this for 30 days, you know what? I'm going to cancel that membership. It's not doing anything for me. Well, you have no structure. Even though you had the discipline to show up, you didn't have anything after that to move forward. You weren't making consistently good choices to achieve a goal. So just because you show up, and in a relationship, this is probably something that many of us can relate to. You're in a relationship with someone, you're there every day. Maybe you share the same home with the person. You're there, but you're not actually paying attention. You're showing up, but you're thinking about something else. They see you, they physically see you and know you are there, but you're not engaging with them. You're somewhere else. So this becomes part of the identity of your relationship. The other person knows, okay, I see they're there, but they're not actually listening to me. I don't feel loved. I don't feel seen. And so then there's a pattern of behavior. And sometimes people will break these patterns. And then sometimes people will say, you know what, the devil you know is better than the one you don't. The fact that there's a living human being across from me is more important than having a relationship where I feel valued and I feel heard. And that's okay. Everyone gets to make their own choice. So I'd like you to ask yourself these questions. What am I repeating on a daily basis? Next, what does this pattern produce over 6 to 12 months? So think about something that you've been doing in your life for the last 6 or 12 months. What is the outcome of what it is you've been doing? And now the most important thing is this outcome aligned with what I say I want? There's a gap, and this can be uncomfortable. And many times, this is where people will start to retreat because their eyes have been opened, but they don't want to see it. Because when we see something, what does that mean? We can't unsee it. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. When you see what your own behavior is producing or not producing, you have to believe it. And now you'd have to make a choice. Do I want to change what I'm doing? I feel so comfortable. We get into this mode where, you know what, it's easy, it's comfortable, and we start negotiating with ourselves. And here's what I've heard from people. I work really hard. You know what, the first 20, 30 years of my life, I did this. I deserve to just take it easy now. I can eat whatever it is I want. I can stay up late. I don't have to get a lot of sleep. I can stay up all night drinking and partying. We tell ourselves these things and we justify it because we don't want to actually see what's going on. And again, because when we see something, we cannot unsee it. And then what most people will do is they will avoid it. People will avoid evaluating their own patterns for a couple of big reasons. One, there's no more excuses. You can't keep making excuses about why what you're doing isn't working. You can't blame it on someone else. People love to blame things on the economy. They love to blame things on politicians. If it weren't for this and if it weren't for that and gas prices and food, and all of that may be true, but what are you doing? What does your own behavior pattern look like before you start exposing and putting light on everyone else? Because we all have choices to make. Are you living a perfect life where you're making all the right choices and you're 100% happy? Great. Then this show isn't for you. I haven't met that person yet, but if you think that's you, good for you. The next thing is, after removing excuses, is it exposes where we're inconsistent. You may think you've been doing something on a regular basis only to find out that you're not actually doing exactly what you agreed to do on a regular basis. Maybe you're doing some version of it, but you're not fulfilling the whole thing. And the last thing is it eliminates this illusion of I'm making progress. So what is the key takeaway here? It is much easier to stay busy than to be accurate. So you have a choice. Is your choice going to be that you're going to continue with your busy work, or are you actually going to be productive? Because being productive feels an incredible way that I can't even tell you. It's like you put all the effort in and then you got to the end, to the pot of gold, whatever that is. And of course, as life always is, that pot of gold will shift from one place to another. And we have to continue on because it's a journey. It's always about the journey, and we're learning things along the way. Are you open to learning? Are you open to feedback? Are you open to looking at what the decisions are that you're making? And there's no blame. There's no judgment. It's just, okay, well, this pattern of behavior has gotten me here, but I really wanted to get over here. So what is it that I can look at to possibly change? So just consider some of these things. The long game, it's not about waiting. It's about building. whether it's intentionally or not. And whatever game it is you're playing, whether it's your health, whether it is your relationships, because everything really is a game if you think about it. And you get to decide what is your role in the game. So the long game, it's not about waiting, it's about building. And again, is it intentional or is it not? Obviously, there are times in life when we are very fortuitous. There's luck. We met the right person. We've been doing the networking. We've been giving back, and then something paid off. Okay, let's take that. Let's embrace it. But the key point is that we are always in the long game. So my question for you is, what is it you are building? And how are you doing it? If nothing changes from this very moment, whether it's your health, your relationships, or your business, what will you have in a year? Will you just be repeating the same thing over and over again? If you're in relationships that are not working, what do you think is going to change it in a year? Will you still be sitting in the same place, unhappy, disappointed, or are you extremely happy? What will you continue to build on so that that happiness stays there? And if you are in the business world, if you have your own business, what is working that you're going to continue on with? And what are some things that you've been devoting your time to that are kind of just draining your energy? And even though you're consistently doing them, it's not working. And I'll give an example. So we're on television right now. We're on many different platforms. We're on social media. I know a lot of people who have businesses that are on social media, and they may or may not be getting the return of investment for their time or marketing, advertising, whatever it might be. So people might say, you know, we're spending X dollars on marketing. Well, what's the result? Just because you keep spending it is the result. People think that there's some magic wand that just because you can be seen certain places, that that's going to entice people to do something. But if you really want to drive behavior change with people, you have to make it about them, for them. So whatever way it is that you're coming across, how are you packaging that so that people see that there's something there for them? There's something that actually can entice them to do something, as opposed to just consistently doing it. And if you are, let's say you're a podcaster or a TV show host, how often are you looking at your own behavior? How often are you looking at your skill set? And whatever it is you do in life, how often are you continuously following a pattern of getting more education, exposing yourself to places and people that have something to share that you could incorporate with what you're doing? I've heard this many times. People get to be a certain age, at least here in the States, and you can retire at a certain age, and they retire and it's almost like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing now. And people just start counting the days. How much longer am I going to be here? Instead of having a sense of purpose. So whatever it is that you're doing, look at the behavior patterns behind it to see if you're being consistent, but you could be consistently unproductive. Maybe you're consistently busy and you're miserable. So I wanted you to take away from this, if nothing changes, where will you be in a year? You don't need a new plan. You need to look at what it is that you're already repeating. What are the things you're doing on a daily basis, a weekly basis, a yearly basis that you're repeating and that are not serving you? Because again, the long game, it's not a waiting game. It's a game that we are playing every single day we are here. So I want to thank you for listening. Thank you so much for being here. I want to share with you, if you are not aware, I host probably 7 different TV shows, and we've got about 60 or so, including the ones in our archives on USA Global TV and Radio and Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. So wherever it is you're watching, if you would consider going over to YouTube to our channels, a lot of the social media sites take the content down after a month. We're also streaming this show through our distributor, E360 TV. So you can find us over on LG, Samsung, Amazon Fire, and many more. So thank you again for being here. I have several new books that are coming out, and I want to play the video for the newest one, which is really geared towards children and their parents and caretakers for when a child has a tummy ache and they're not sure what it could be. Sometimes we just brush it off and say, it'll go away, just go to your room, just do this or that. But sometimes it's more. So let's take a look at this, My Tummy Hurts. Thanks again for being here. My Tummy Hurts by Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. Meet Jackie. She loves recess, running with friends and laughing on the playground. At school, Jackie tries to play like she always does, but suddenly the pain comes back. Lately, something feels different and her tummy hurts, sometimes a little and sometimes a lot. With the help of a caring teacher, a nurse, her mom, and a kind doctor, Jackie begins to understand what her body is trying to tell her. Sometimes tummy pain is more than a simple bellyache. Some children live with conditions like ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease. Jackie listens to her body. She asks for help. She knows she's not alone. And Jackie finds her way back to running, laughing, and being herself. My Tummy Hurts, A Kid's Guide to Bellyaches and Bathroom Troubles by Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK, available on Amazon and in fine bookstores around the world.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.